So my wife's blood pressure has actually dropped 2 times. Um, I believe I'm not a doctor. It's not medical advice, but I believe it's due to the progression, the advancement of the brain tumors. I have been fighting so hard for my wife to get her treatment, probably for the last 2 weeks, and it's been very, very difficult to convince doctors to do it because the first thing is that when she was first admitted to the hospital, it was this pneumonia thing. Well, first it was actually urinary tract infection, which then they said was pneumonia. So the focus for the first, I would say, week to even 10 days was just to really treat the pneumonia. And I was battling for her, this whole time. They didn't even wanted to, at first at Soch, they were really reluctant to even treat the pneumonia. Everybody was just like hospice, hospice, hospice. I'm like, look, let's see if we can help her with the pneumonia. Like, I have been the force that has been the positive force, the supporting force, just whatever you want to call it. I'm her husband, I'm her best friend, and I have been pushing to help her. Because look, one thing about my wife, you understand, she doesn't just want to quit. Because a lot of people just like, why don't you just choose hospice? Why don't you just, because she's 46 years old. This is not an old woman here. This is a young woman. She's 46 years old, and we want to try everything. We want to exhaust. When I say we, I represent me and my children, her children, our children. We as a family want to exhaust every single possible opportunity before we will say throw in the towel and give up. Only 46 years old, the mother of our 2 beautiful children. And throughout this whole process, her blood pressure has been very, very strong. Her vitals have been very strong. But I think it's just taking too long. They're not treating the major problems, which is the cancer in the brain, the cancer in the spinal cord. Now you might say, well, why are they not treating it? I don't know. It's anyone's guess. Maybe they feel she's too weak for treatment. Maybe they feel that there's a conflict of interest. I don't know what's going on. I've been having fights with doctors. I had a fight with the neurologist. I had a huge fight with him today. And the bottom line is his priority is that EVD, which is the drain that he put in to all the liquid that's been accumulating, in the brain, to divert it because it was getting stuck in her head because of all the tumors. And he was like, that is the worst thing, Rich. We got to get rid of that. And I agree. But the problem is at what cost? You're not going to treat the brain cancer. You're not going to treat the spinal cancer. I don't know. There's all these different things why they feel they can't do it. The oncologist said that as long as the EVD is in, he can't do chemotherapy. And the neurologist says he could only do the EVD. He wants to do a permanent shunt, which is a permanent fixture. The EVD is temporary. It's a temporary drain. The shunt will be permanent. But again, all of these things are not treating. And I kept saying it to them. I'm like, I get it. You're diverting the liquid. That's a beautiful thing. And it is. But what about treating the main problem here, the main problem, which is the brain cancer and the spinal cancer? And they just been very, very argumentative with me, not giving me straight answers. Like, I've never seen a case like this. I just want you to know, I lived my whole life. I've never seen, normally doctors are overkill with treatment, like to the point where people turn down the treatments. They're like, this is too much treatment. I don't want to do it. I've never seen a case where a doctor literally is not doing treatments for whatever the reason is. So I've come to the conclusion maybe is they're just not equipped. They're not equipped. So I'm getting her in. I've been. That's another major problem now, is I've been trying to get her into a great, like the best of the best cancer hospital now. And I finally made some progress tonight. I finally got the 2 oncology teams talking, where they're discussing a transfer. But this is like a whole process too. Hopefully this can happen by tomorrow or sooner. But you have to have you have to have a physician who's going to agree to take on Jennifer at this big hospital. And there's a whole process. They got to go back and forth with the whole case with the oncology team. And then they got to make a decision if they're going to take her on. Then they got to transfer her. And then they got to, it's like, again, kind of starting from the start here, the ground level, where they have to assess what's going on, what's a condition, what do they want to do, are there clinical trials, is there some kind of a treatment that they could do that her current hospital can't. Look, I've been trying everything. I've been fighting and fighting for my wife. And I just hope at this point, because her blood pressure dropped 2 times, that we could get her into this, top-notch hospital and get the treatments going, because they have been lacking. In my opinion, they're not doing the treatments for whatever the reason are. They're not doing it. They're not treating, and the cancer's growing, and it's scaring me. So now my wife has 2 problems. I'll explain it to you. Problem number 1 is in her left arm, because she had a mastectomy. This was years ago. They can't use that for any type of treatments, because like they can't use her veins. Her right arm seems to be totally. They got all these different things going on, and it's like they're saying that, I don't know, they're having difficulty just using her right arm to treat her. Now they're asking me for consent to do treatment through her neck, but it's like a surgical procedure. They actually have to, I guess, connect something that would be surgically put in her neck to administer, the blood pressure medication and other medications. And this will be, moving forward, become a lot easier process than continuously trying to find a vein in her right arm, which they're having a lot of difficulty doing. This girl is like going through too much. Our family is going through too much. I'm just hoping that she gets off this ventilator, but it's now with this blood pressure dropping, it's been even more challenging. They were able to get the blood pressure back up to normal levels 2 times, but it is very frightening. The girl needs to get treatment ASAP, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor, it's not medical advice, but in my opinion, she needs to get treatment. She needs to treat that brain cancer, that spinal cancer, and I'm just hoping that this top hospital, if I get her transferred, that they will do it ASAP in some way, shape, or form, whether it be a treatment plan, whether it be a clinical trial, something. She needs something. She has to treat this. And I'm doing everything I can. Everything I can. Like I said, I have been the positive force in her corner, getting everything done, but I'm just scared. I'm scared that she needs stuff to happen quickly, and I'm trying. I'm trying so hard to get her every possible help that she needs. With that said, you all know our family is going through the most difficult, challenging time. If you can find it in your heart to do a good deed, I have a service. It's not a donation. I am not a charity. It is a service where a very small entertainment tip on my Cash App, which is the $ RichardLevoi, that's the $RichardLevoi. All of this information is in the description of this video. I will write you the thank you song. This is just a jazz blues composition I write specifically for your good deed. I want to thank you. I want to say thank you for helping our family. Again, it's small entertainment tip. My Cash App is like my piano bar jar for my tips, my entertainment tips. It's the $ Richard, RichardLevoi. All of this information is in the description of this video. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless your family.